this is what a case will look like if there is tumbling media inside the flash hole. Now, like I said, to get rid of that, take a scribe, take something sharp, and poke it out. Trying to do this with one hand, sorry. Give it a little tap, and no more. Okay, now it's time to insert the primer into the primer pocket. I'm using CCI number 400 small rifle primers, and these will be the primers that we'll be using. Now I'm going to be using the press to install these primers, so I'll show you how it's done. Alright. Put it into the slot for the primer, and make sure that it is facing like this. You see the brass in there? Make sure it's not like this, because if you're seeing that, then that means it's backwards. Okay, so make sure you flip that around. Take the case, put it in the shell holder, lower the ram, and make sure you push it in a nice push. You can feel it go in, and that's it. Now make sure that it's flat. Make sure that it's in all the way. A good way to tell is putting it on a flat surface and make sure there's hardly any wobble. Little to no wobble, which there isn't. We'll do the same thing for the next 4. Alright. Make sure you push all the way. Make sure it's in there. Make sure that you're putting these in the correct way. This step's easy. It's not much to it. You just got to pay attention and watch what you're doing. That's the last one. Let's test it out, see if it's in all the way. Alright, looks good to me. Okay, next is charging the cases. Now it's very important that you take your time in this stage. This is one of the most important steps of the reloading process. You don't want to overcharge the case, or you don't want to undercharge them either. Your reloading book gives you a variety of different powders to use and different amounts of charges for that bullet. Now there's no need to go with a max charge. You never want to do that. I never have, and I never will. That puts yourself in harm's way. You're gonna have to find a powder that works best with your gun. That goes with anything else. That goes with primers. That goes with different brands of bullets, and different brands of cases, and different powders. It's a trial and error process. You're just gonna have to find the recipe that works best to get the maximum performance out of your rifle. Keep a log, write it down, state whether this recipe worked better than the other one, and go with that recipe. Now, how do you weigh the charge? You use a scale. This is the scale that came with the lock and load Hornady kit. Now you use the powder dispenser right here to get that charge. Now there is a knob right here that you twist. You go clockwise to increase the charge. You go counterclockwise to decrease the charge. Now we're going to be using for the 223 the Winchester 748. It is a medium speed propellant, which I look for. I like to use the medium speed powders. I find that works best for my gun. Now it might be different for your gun. Try it out. Okay, let's set up the scale so it's ready to weigh your charges. Let's take the weighing platform, put it on the scale. Let's get a base reading. Now it looks like the base reading is 126.8 grains. Now we'll zero it out. Now we'll take our weighing platform and we'll get a charge I don't like to use the first charge because I feel that that is inaccurate. So I'll always weigh it by the second charge. Put it back on the scale. Let's see what we have. I am looking for a 25 grain charge, and there's our 25 grain charge. So there's no need to adjust the dispenser. So let's do the other, all of the 5 cases. Let's charge them up. Okay, let's take our cases. Now we have a tray right here that I'll be using. We'll put the mouth of the case right under the dispenser and charge them. Now make sure that you don't shorten up the charge. Make sure that you let the powder, the full charge, drop into the case. Now we're only doing 5, so we'll check one case out at the end. We'll check the 5th case. But if you're charging 5 or like 100 or even like I said 500 cases, you're gonna want to check the charge every maybe 20 cases or so, because you always want to check it. You want to make sure that it's not messed up in any way, you know, because that'll be might be fatal. I'm gonna put that weighing dispenser back onto the scale. We'll zero it out, and we'll just drop the charge into it and see what we have. And as you can see, it's still 25 grain charge, and it looks like we're good. Okay, after you charge the cases, now it's time to seat the bullet into the case. Now you want to seat the bullet to the cartridge overall length. The cartridge overall length is in your reloading book. Now the cartridge overall length of the 55 grain bullet for the 223 is 2.2 inches. Be sure not to exceed the maximum cartridge overall length, which is 2.26 inches. You don't want a chamber around that is too long. Now to measure the cartridge overall length, you're going to have to use a pair of calipers. Now I'm not going to show you how to set up the reloading dies, because when you buy reloading dies, it will come with instructions on how to set up your die. My die is already set up. All I'm going to have to do is dial in the seating knob for the cartridge overall length per each case. Okay, we'll take our bullet. Now again, this is the 55 grain soft point with canal. And this is going to take some technique, because this isn't a boat-tailed bullet. It's so if it's not a boat-tailed, it's kind of hard to insert it up into the die without it falling down, you know. Bolt tails are much easier to do, but it's going to take some time, you know, to get used to. We'll put it right here. We'll raise the ram, guide it up to this seating die, push all the way down. Now you can see that that seated the bullet a little bit, but clearly it's not enough. So we're going to have to dial the knob down quite a bit. Now again, it's a trial and error process. Okay. Now if you have a canal, it's easy to get that point, because you want it to sit into the canal. Now once it's in there, let's take the calipers and we'll measure it out. Now we're looking for 2.20. This is reading 2.210. Now you can give yourself a tolerance of plus or minus 4 thousandths. Now what that means is it's okay if it is 4 thousandths bigger than 2.2 or 4 thousandths smaller. But anything after that, you don't want. So let's measure this out again. Now we're reading 2.202. Now that's good. Let's do another case. We'll go run all 5 of these through. Now it might the length might differ with soft point bullets. Now the reason for that is because they're soft, And if they are nicked, the reading will be different. If the tip of the bullet is nicked, it'll shave off the bullet a little bit, which the cartridge overall length might be smaller, but that's okay. That's not to worry. But if it's within your tolerance range of .004, which is 4/1000ths of an inch, you should be all right. Now these are reading good. It's staying pretty consistent. This is 2.201. Is good. We'll do the last two. And I'll just measure out the last one. Now you're going to want to make sure that you measure these. Like when you dispense the powder charges, if you're doing a mass quantity like 100 or 500, you're going to want to measure every 20 or so. Now this one read 2.198. Now it is 2,000 smaller, but that's okay. It'll still action through the rifle properly. And the last step of the reloading process is crimping. The method of crimping that I use is the roll crimp. So to do this, you use the seeding die. Now what the changes you do is you take the whole seeding die and you rotate it clockwise, which will bring the seeding die further down. Now when you place your round into the shell holder and you raise the ram, it'll come in contact with the seeding die, which will cause a roll crimp. Now your reloading die will have instructions, more detailed instructions on how this works. Now, I have shot over 1,500 rounds through my AR-15 using the roll crimp method, and I have yet to run into any problems. The action has been great. It's been flawlessly. It's very smooth. I have yet to run into any jams or any misfeeds, so this method of crimping works well for me. So let's raise the ram, and like I said, by dropping the reloading die down a little bit, it causes a roll crimp. Now you won't be able to see it here, but it is crimping it. Now this method also reduces the wear and tear on your brass, so your brass will have a longer lifespan. Now if you use the factory crimp, now that will crimp the brass really, really hard, you know. I mean, you'll be able to see and notice the difference. And after, about like 5 or so reloads of that brass, you might have to throw it out. Now by this method, it greatly, dramatically improves the lifespan of it. So that's less money out of your pocket that you have to spend. And that's the last case. And that's it, guys. We have completed, and we've made 5 rounds that can be shot through your rifle. I hope that's helped you out. Take care.